Welcome to the Primo's Musings podcast.
Good morning. This is Sri Primo with a quick recap of Week 12 of the NFL and also a look ahead to the Week 13 because as we know, Week 13 is a Thanksgiving week and we do have at least 5 games between Thursday and 4 games between Thursday and Friday. The Chiefs and Raiders tee up on Friday at 3 p.m. But we have 3 games, true traditional games: Lions and Bears, Giants, Cowboys, Dolphins, and Packers, which is probably the one game I'll try to cover for this, one of the games I'll cover for the preview. But quickly going back to week number 12, week number 12 ended with the battle between the Harbaugh brothers, which I didn't cover in the recap in the preview last week. It was a very close game going in. The Chargers actually were playing much better. They had a 10-7 lead. Harbaugh went for a 4th and 1 on his side of the field by the 25-yard line. And then the Ravens only had one timeout, but credit to the Ravens for moving the ball very quickly. They did get one PI, but Lamar was not having a great throwing performance, but he actually ended up throwing a lot of yards on that drive. He only threw for 177 yards, but at one point he didn't throw for more than 2 to 3 yards. But then quickly but surely, on the backs of Derrick Henry and excellent receiving in terms of like Bateman and Andrews and Flowers, they were able to move the ball. They took the lead at 14-13 at the half. But then the second half, the Ravens flexed their muscles and got the running game going. Then the passing game started to show up. The Chargers, on the other hand, had a tough time moving the ball against the Ravens. Justin Herbert, again, the downside for the Chargers is the running game. When you don't have a good running game, the one bright spot there was Lad McConkey, who is the rookie who had a very good 6 catches, 83 yards. Justin Herbert had a very subdued throwing performance. Once they could not get the rushing game going, it was very difficult to match the Ravens point for point. And the Ravens definitely played much better in the second half and got the victory. So with that, the Ravens go to 8-4. Just a half game outside the Steelers. The Chargers fall to 7-4. Still have a good chance for getting into the playoffs, but right now it's if you look at it, that's where I see it. But on the other games, the Eagles, I think we talked about the Eagles. The Eagles went to LA and put on a performance. I do have to mention this. Saquon Barkley had one of the best rushing yards by anybody this season. 155 yards, almost 9.8 yards per clip. Add to that 4 catches for 47 yards. That puts him over 300 yards for this one game. There are teams that struggle to score 300, to have 300 yards in a game. And Barkley, and I'm sure the Giants must be wondering, of course, it all came down to money, but the Giants must be wondering why they let Saquon Barkley go. And Hurts, again, didn't have a great performance, but very solid performance, 15 or 22, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. The Eagles, with the loss for the Commanders against the Cowboys, which ended in a crazy thing with the Commanders kicker missing 2 extra points and 1 field goal, and I believe they cut him. So Eagles now definitely have the inside track to the NFC East. On the other side, we talked a little bit about the game. I think the Vikings, go on the road. They should have won the game easily, but I think they let the Bears hanging in there. And then they had to come back in overtime and win that game 30-27. That's a good win for Vikings. The one shocker for me was the Titans going all the way to the Texans and beating the Texans at their home. And that usually doesn't bode well for a team that's trying to make a push. The Texans, I mean, granted, They have a two-game lead in their division, but the Texans they've not shown me that they are the team to compete when the playoffs roll along. I mean, they will make the playoffs, but they're going to have a tough time, I believe, in the playoffs. Again, like I said, just let's looking at the games for this week. Let's quickly go down to one game I did want to cover with the Dolphins and Packers. The Dolphins, high flying, beat the Patriots, the hapless Patriots, pretty easily. They were up 31-0 before the Patriots could even score. A lot of issues for the Patriots. We'll not get to that. But the Dolphins, the speed is one thing that a lot of people have talked about with Jalen Waddle and Hill. Tua playing much better. Their running game is doing much better than before. Tua is back. I think the Dolphins are a very scary team. Even though the Dolphins are right now at 5-6, I didn't think that they would be in the playoff contention, but right now when I look at it, they definitely could get to the playoffs if one of the teams, say the Chargers or Broncos, slip. The Dolphins could squeak in somehow. And I do think that with their offense, the way they've been playing, so much motion that they use in their offense. And I don't think there was one graphic I saw, the motion offense that the Dolphins use really confused the Patriots. And I think if they continue to do that, they'll be a problem. And they go on to play the Packers this week on the road. Lambeau Field, it's going to be cold. And this is something that happened to the Dolphins last year. They went to Kansas City where the temperatures were in single digits and they had a very tough time moving the ball. Dolphins are a warm weather team. And if they want to win in January, this is a game to show the NFL that they can go on the road and win. The Packers are coming off an excellent win. They beat the 49ers. They actually beat up on the 49ers 38-10. Of course, Niners played without Brock Purdy, but McCaffrey was there, but he had a very critical fumble that kind of led the floodgates to open. The way I see this game going between the Dolphins and Packers. I definitely see the Dolphins posing a lot more problems for the Packers. The Packers are not used to seeing the speed that the Dolphins are going to pose. I know it's a warm weather team going to Lambeau, but I feel that this time they're playing much better. They've gotten a winning streak going. They went to LA, beat up on the Rams. They beat up on the Patriots. Of course, they're all a very poor team, but playing the Packers, I feel that the Dolphins, Thursday, 8:20, it's going to be a fun Thursday night Thanksgiving game because the first two games are going to be not that impressive with the Lions and Bears and Giants and Cowboys. So that's how I see that going for the Dolphins. And then again, on the other aspect of things, the other important games that you see are the the Cardinals and Vikings. Cardinals right now they need to get back with. Right now you have the Seahawks that own the NFC West division lead, and the Seahawks are actually going to play the Jets. That's going to be a Geno Smith coming back to New York. I'm sure he would be really pumped to play. The Seahawks have actually played much better. They pretty much outmuscled the Cardinals in the last game. I feel that the Seahawks will definitely win that. So 7-5. So Cardinals and Vikings. The Cardinals travel to the Vikings. The Vikings again have not been really impressive. They started hot, and Sam Darnold has been making more mistakes. But I feel that the Cardinals, they will go on the road and beat the Vikings. I think Kyler Murray and then Buda Baker on the defense will be very solid. And the Vikings, like I said, Sam Darnold is making a lot more mistakes. I think the tape is out, and I think it's a good story for him. But I do think that they need to. They won the game against the Bears, but the Cardinals are a different game altogether. And I feel that the Cardinals are going to go on the road and win that game as well. The other big game, which I see the Ravens now coming off a big victory, but this is a potential. Again, I just said potential because the road still goes through Arrowhead. Could be a Super Bowl matchup between the Eagles and the Ravens. Sunday, December 1. That's going to be a battle. I'm very conflicted on this. I just saw the Ravens play. I was not very impressed in the first half. The Eagles, I've been very impressed on that. It's going to, and Ravens have so far played teams that don't have a good running game. Eagles do have a very good running game. And then Jalen Hurts has been playing much better than what he normally does. And the Eagles going on to the Raven, this is a battle It'll come down to a last second field goal. I feel that I want to pick the Eagles on this one, but I feel that the Ravens had some little momentum going. If they had lost the game yesterday, I would have definitely picked the Eagles. But the Ravens have the momentum going at home, and the Justin Tucker field goal at the end could be like a 24-21 kind of a score right there. But that's the way we are in that the rest of the games, like I said, don't they're not really great games. I mean, there's one game which is Chargers and Falcons. Chargers need a reset. They need to go back and see if they can win that game on the road against. I think they could do well. It's a dome game. I do think the Falcons are faltering a little bit now. They've fallen down. They're like 6-5. They're still winning the division. I mean, but they started really hot. But I thought they were going to run away with the division. But it's going to be a very important game for them because the Buccaneers are right on their toes at 5-6. So for Falcons is a very important game for them. But I feel that the Chargers will come into Falcons and win that game as well. So with that, we wrap up the week 12 of the NFL and also a look ahead for the week 13 Thanksgiving games as we see it. Thanks again for listening and thanks again for supporting. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening. Primo will be back soon.